Hello and welcome to today's historic best of 3 deck tech and gameplay video on 5 color shrines, an update to an older list that I had made a video for in the past. Shrines are the sort of Kamigawa staple enchantment type that basically get increasingly better with the more shrines that you get. We have shrines now from 3 sets, both original Kamigawa, the M21s, and now the Go Shintais. And we basically run all the shrines we can into the deck for shrine value leading into a Sanctum of All. Basically, it's a shrine payoff card and top end. We have some generic sort of glue for the cards like Golos to ramp and fix for our goofy mana base. And we can also activate his ability at the bottom for some extra value if we need to. Sithis for card draw and some life gain is nice. Sterling Grove for Shroud to give our very fragile game plan some resiliency. Assassin's Trophy and Faithful Absence for some removal that is necessary since most aggressive decks can outrun us. And as we talked about, our land deck, the land for our deck is absolutely goofy and covers a wide variety of things. So this whole deck is an absolute goofy pile of memery. Not great, but it is fun. Sideboard, relatively standard. Destiny Spinner. The Destiny Spinner basically means your creatures and enchantments can't be countered. Good against control decks. Gaia's Blessing is here since, at least personally, mill decks can sort of really mess us up. Rampaging Ferocidon for opposing life gain. Clothis as Graveyard Hate and an additional enchantment that we can find with cards like Idyllic Tutor. Knight of Autumn for opposing artifact and enchantment hate. Usually, of course, you can use it for other abilities if need to. Some Wrath of Gods for just generic board clearing panic buttons. Deafening Clarion for the lower end version that you might need. And a Farewell that can be a creature sweeper or any other weird, goofy, weird bit sort of exile. Farewell is nice Farewell is nice basically because it can hit a large amount of things. And that is the basics of the deck. We'll go now into game number 1. Game number 1 with our 5 color shrines list. Again, we go first because we have a brain in our skull. 3 lands, 4 spells, things to do. It's not an amazing hand, but we'll keep it. I wanted to take a little second here to note the fact that we're gold. Now, this actually kind of works well to the point of speaking, or goes well to prove a point that I can talk about in relation to like the power level of the deck. The deck is very fun and it's a goofy little meme, but the deck is not good. I have been tinkering with this thing for weeks now, and I cannot get it to get above gold, really. At least I can't get it to get above gold post-reset. And I honestly think that's about where the deck strength ends. Mind you, gold is not the middle of the road point in terms of strength or matchmaking wise. That is platinum. That's why you usually find me there. So when you play this deck, take very good care of, or take good care to remind yourself of the fact that you're not going to get a lot of wins. You're playing this for the memes. Now, back to the actual game. See, we'll go ahead and play a Sanctum of Stone Fangs. Our opponent turn 1 thought seized away our Sanctum of All, which is not great, but we do have 3 in the deck. Opponent is on Orzhov something. Sterling Grove is nice. That's dumb. I could have paid for that. Yeah, that's a big dummy move. That's fine. It's not the end of the world. Let's see what our opponent is on. Orzhov something. Orzhov Taxes? Closest to the closest you can get to a Death and Taxes in the format anyway. God damn, Matt Campbell's gonna screw us real bad. Oh, that's really bad. Of course, if you don't draw any lands, then yeah, you were in some real trouble. Oh, this is really bad. So although if we don't draw any lands, I'm not going to be able... There we go. We'll brick 1 turn. That's fine. We're going to actually Blood Crypt and pay for the Honden here. We just have to take the life loss. It's just a reality of things. We're gonna pay for it as we kind of need to. They shouldn't have, yeah, any sort of mana tithe. Luckily, the Sterling Grove gives our enchantment shroud, so we've sort of got a little bit of a lock going on. They literally have to target the Grove first, which is good. It's about as good as it's going to get. We only have access to 2 with our ping from the Honden next turn. I guess we can get rid of the apparition and get back a bear. It's not fantastic, but it's good enough. If we draw land, we can go Shintai here. Are we in that much? Yeah, we'll go ahead and Assassin's Trophy their Campbell, or Comble. That particular card is just amazing at really messing us up. Hopefully this will give us a chance to sort of, you know, reset. See what our opponent does. We block the 2/2. Are we... Ah, well that's great. We still block if he attacks with the Esper Sentinel. Gonna Honden down one of their Esper Sentinels. We're just looking for things to do. Let's see, X Toughness Shrine. Okay, so we'll go ahead and Sterling Grove. Again, kind of brutal, but we need to do this to try and halt the bleeding. Again, giving all of our enchantment shroud against white in particular that has the most plentiful access to. Oh fuck, that's brutal. Most plentiful access to like enchantment removal. It's a little brutal, gotta be honest. I don't think we win. I think we almost lose for certain, right? We're still at 2, so we need to kill their Esper Sentinel. Oh, that's so close to being useful. We need to literally hit with the Shintai here. We're not going to be able to activate its ability. He had the mana tie. Okay, that's fine. Sometimes you just lose. Okay, we are really bleeding bad, so we're probably gonna die here. I can think of very little that saves us. Goes to 6. I mean, that's something. It's not great. I don't love it, but it's something. But yeah, I think we lose basically no matter what happens there. So yeah, we could have not played the Sanctum, but that, like, yeah, that's fine. They won. Also, the fact that we missed a single land drop really didn't help either. Opponent is running, honestly, pretty board heavy. So maybe Wrath of Gods and a Deafening Clarion. The tutor's too slow. We cannot afford to take turns off. Sanctum's not that great. Neither is the... Well... Is it, though? Yeah. I think we're pretty happy with that. This is one of those shows that the deck is very fun to play for the meme, but, like, is very fragile. And needs a lot of support to stay even remotely upright. Okay, that's fine. 4 lands, 3 spells, removal spells, some stuff. Okay. It's not fantastic, but it's something. Go ahead and Temple Garden on 1. Probably playing a Pathway on blue. We don't want to unnecessarily ping ourselves if we don't have to. That is almost certainly Mana Tithe that he's just sitting on. Again, we're going to not ping ourselves so ever possible, yet still try to get access to all of our colors of mana. See what our opponent does. I mean, pardon the yawn. They don't do anything. I think we're gonna shock in the Godless Shrine to play the white Shintai here, understanding full well that it's probably gonna get gobbled up by a Mana Tithe. We're more so just concerned about just making them use the spell. We know they have it. Oh, that's pretty good. We're gonna pathway on red here. It sucks, but we kind of need to get rid of the combo again, as this card, as we talked about already, totally dumpsters us. We can now have the Assassin's Trophy open if we need to panic and get rid of something. Shocking in another one. Again, we just kind of need to... We definitely need to kill it now. Although, luckily, now they're not sitting on Mana Tithe mana, since they played the Thalia. Thalia also... It's not great for our deck, as it's primarily non-creature based, so... There is that. That would have been nice. We'll go ahead and Golos. The land we'll search up is just a World Tree, giving us the 6 lands required to activate his color-fixing ability. The activate ability on World Tree means actually nothing for us. That's not what it is. It is 4 in the deck. We're going to try and save the Sanctum of All, I guess, then. If they have another, like, Thoughtseize, then life is just miserable. But, like, what are you going to do? They're tapping out entirely, which is really good. It means the Sanctum of All will likely resolve. Because I can think of nothing that stops it. Now, it might not live another turn, but that's a different game. Yeah, that's not great. Let's see what our opponent does. Sanctum of All. I think we'll search our library probably for Stone Fangs. Need to try and get back some life here. Play the Honden of Infinite Rage. If they happen to have some sort of removal spell, that's great. We have a Boseiju for weird little bits and bobs they might play. It's not great. If they play nothing else, we can always just crack the clue at the end of our turn. They attack with a Thalia, as they should. We have access to 3 shrines, so we're going to Honden down their combo before we do anything. There's the game. I was about to say, you're not holding on my priority, you're holding on their priority. Which means they are holding up something, to be entirely fair. Hey, don't take away my thing. Thank you. Go ahead and crack the clue. Breeding pool. We're not going to bother to shock things in right now. We're not that safe. The combo. I think we're going to search for Black Honden here, so we can start denying them resources. We're actually going to probably... Ooh, that's pretty good, though. Honestly, I think we're... We'll keep the Clarion to see if they develop a wider board. We don't really want to go 1-for-1 on board sweepers if we can avoid it. And the Honden next turn will allow us to kill the Thalia anyway. I don't think we're in that much trouble. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to go blink away the lands. Again, would suck to lose the Clarion, but we're not married to it. Again, they attack as they should. Think we'll... Yeah, we're not going to be cute. We're just going to be smart. One of the strengths of Shrines, weirdly, even though after all of the shit-talking that I've done on the deck, is that if you can get a game to go longer and be relatively slow, you can really make the deck kind of shine here. So it's not like inherently bad or anything like that. If they have a removal spell, they're just going to have it. This is also will be a good point, though, of showing that even with the Sanctum of All, you effectively don't really get that much out of it, since as creatures, they can die to most things. It's not exactly an interesting thought or breaking the mold in any way, as many people have talked about it at length, but that's pretty good at kind of showing what I'm talking about. We might as well mill them out, again, deny them more resources. Alright. They're basically in top decking mode, and they can't keep any cards in hand, since our Black Honden here will eat up their hand. They're portable holding away. Probably should the Stone Fangs. Really? Because I think I win this turn, right? Yeah, since we Honden them in the face next turn. Yeah, totally win. Search library. Let's do the green one just to get the colors. Second main, our first combat, Stonefang killed. The deck can do alright if largely left alone to its own devices, but that's not really a reliable game plan that you really want to like hedge your bets on. Which is, I mean, the meta's pretty slow right now, which is a little unfortunate as an aggressive player at heart. But if your metas are particularly slow, then you can kind of get away with playing dirtly decks. Again, you're not going to get past gold, at least not with this build. And hey, maybe there's a better way to get it. Maybe there's ways to refine it. I just can't think of it or don't have access to the cards. If you can think of a way to, say, refine the list and, you know, shave some stuff off the edges, please. You know, that's what comments are for. Just be kind and, you know, constructive. As our opponent, I don't know in Game 3 how deep their sideboarding decisions are going to be, but that's fine. Whatever. They can do them. See, I mean, honestly, I think our Game 3 will be very, like, draw dependent. And not draw in that, like, how many cards do we draw. I mean more so in the way of, like, the actual cards we draw. If we get cards that, like, aren't the most useful, you're asking for trouble. Again, not inherently insurmountable, as our opponent's death and taxes list is a little heavier on the taxes than the death part. But also, it's kind of the only thing you can really do, because their deck is about as death and taxy-ish as you can be. I'm not gonna lie, if our opponent... I don't mind filling 2 minutes of dead time. If our opponent doesn't come back, I'm actually going to keep this game in. Since it's 2 games, and it has largely shown what the deck can do. What you folks at home might not know is that I try to... I try to only include games that are like actual games, you know, that show the deck and the interplay between our deck and our opponent's. If our opponent happens to have AFK'd away for whatever reason, I don't get upset like some people do. I get it. I've been this guy, or gal, or what have you. You know, your dinner's not agreeing with your tummy, you know, delivery at the door, you know, the animals are causing a ruckus, what have you. So I understand it. But the point I was originally making is that odds are our opponent has AFK'd away, So we're going to keep this game in because it showed what the deck has done, and I think it's sufficient to show both what the deck is and is not. You saw in the first game that being so draw dependent and so fragile to both, in this case, both the death and the taxes part of our opponent's deck, this experience of this game is really, really emblematic of the large amount of issues that Shrines as a deck has. And you can only really play it 5 colors. Now, you might shave like certain colors off of it if you wanted to try, but none of the Shrines are inherently bad. I mean, the creature ones aren't great by lieu of being creatures. But think about it, the death and taxes our opponent was playing, the death being the creatures that come out early and really pressure the board, they could just kill me very, very easily. I need to get very particular, or not very particular, but a rough pile of Shrines in order to make the deck even work and be able to survive the death part. The taxes is also equally rough. Okay, that's fine. The taxing is also equally rough, and that shows the difficulty the deck has in any sort of disruption. If you can attack its hand, if you can attack the deck's resources, if you have remotely competent enchantment removal, the deck is super flimsy, both to early aggression and to really the bare minimum form of interaction. Now, if you can get the shields up in like a couple, like 2 Sterling Groves to give everything Shroud and maybe a Destiny Spinner or 2, you can largely, shy of sweepers, achieve the like solitary like fortress status, but that requires so many if statements to be true that you're asking for trouble, and fucking 19 out of 20 games is going to go really rough for you. But you might get, 1 in 20 games where the stars align. But anywho, I hope that was somewhat insightful on what the deck is and cannot be. We'll go now to game number 2 for our final game of the day. Game number 2 with our 5-color Shrines. Again, we go first because we have a brain. 5 lands is a little much, but it's better than flooding, so I guess we'll take it. It's not like amazing, but again, beggars can't be choosers and all that. Probably Stomping Ground on 1, and then we'll put a Pathway on black for our second land, so we can hold up our Assassin's Trophy as our Breaking Glass removal that we need it to be. Stomping Grounds, tapped. See what our opponent does. World Tree from our opponent. Very nice. In that case, we might actually Sacred Foundry and just play the Sterling Grove. Next turn, we play it for black regardless, so we can actually have access to our spells. See what our opponent does. Another enchantments deck. Alright, alright. Not bad, not bad. Go ahead and again for black, holding out the Assassin's Trophy. I'd rather kill what they ramp into with the Weaver than the Weaver itself. And it's some cool goddamn art though. Opponent appears to be playing probably... Are they playing a Shrines deck also? Because that's the only 5-color... That's fantastic. We're going to surprise the hell out of our opponent in a second. It's like the best Uno reverse card of all time. That is incredible. By some miracle, we have the fucking mirror matchup. Yes! That's the greatest fucking thing ever. That's so good. I've literally, in the 2 weeks that I've had with this deck, I have not once gone against the mirror matchup, and that's fucking fantastic. We know from experience, however, that their deck crumbles to basically any sort of removal. So we might as well take advantage of this. Alright. Black Shintai. They don't have anything to kill, so there's no point in paying anything. Might as well not pay it and keep the information open. There's no way to know what they're running. Sanctum Weaver's a little weird. Sanctum Weaver's a weird card in enchantment list in general. It's like, okay. I cannot reasonably think of any enchantment based deck where you don't want, sorry, I cannot think of most enchantment decks that would run a Sanctum Weaver that you would want more than like 2. It's like a really narrow effect that does require additional synergy to be good. I mean, at baseline, oh, don't leave, opponent, we were doing so good. At baseline, it's like a 2-mana dork, which is fine. It's like, okay. It's not worth the rare wild card, though, if that's all it's playing as. I'm gonna be so upset if our opponent leaves. Like, I really wanted to play this game. Man, that's fucking brutal. I was so happy to find the fucking mirror matchup. Especially with like such a weird like corner case deck like this. To go against the mirror matchup was amazing to me. Maybe they didn't leave. They might have forgotten that they have priority, which admittedly, very possible. We can go Shintai here. We'll go ahead and... The white Shintai is honestly probably the best in the cycle. Just because, if nothing else, it makes... If the Shintai itself dies, I mean, you do at least maintain... Sorry, what? Alright. You do maintain... Oh, well, that's a really useful game. We're not going to crack that Sterling Grove yet. But, it's my original point to the white Shintai. If they manage to say... Oh, that's great, we're doing the same thing. Manage to kill the white Shintai, odds are you've gotten a couple creature tokens out of it that'll probably stick around, so that's not bad. What? Okay, well, again, we're not gonna... crack the Sterling Grove yet. I know Saffron Olive did a historic version of the historic video. Okay, they're cracking their Grove immediately. It's fair. It might actually be smart to do that, actually. We're gonna crack on their step. Yeah, actually it is probably smarter to crack a Sterling Grove. We'll just find a Sanctum of All. Because odds are they're gonna do basically the same thing. But I'm trying to remember what Saffron Olive's video, what was in his deck list. I'm sorry, what? In that case, I know he's not going to be able to activate it, so we're just going to do it now. Why would you not Sanctum of All? That's crazy to me. Like, I mean, whatever, I guess. You're like an adult and do what you want. Go ahead and... Now, so we have enough mana to cast basically anything in the deck, we're just going to keep the land in hand. Better to, like, hold the information. I think we're going to honestly go to... Nah, we'll go, Calm Waters. We need to get some card draw out of this. Hopefully find some better stuff with it. Honestly, basically what we did. Get rid of the shock lands as they've largely served their purpose. Find a tutor here. Go ahead and go Shintai of Hidden Cruelty. Make sure we have enough mana to activate the Shintai's ability. Alright! From that point, I think we almost certainly... I will never, unless they don't have access to Sanctum of Alls, none of Autumn is easily like the smartest choice here. Tranquil's not that useful. They're not going to do that much. Shintai's also not that useful since they're all... If they have a Sanctum of All, which they should, the Sanctum of All can actually pull from graveyards, so milling them doesn't do that much. But I think we talked about this in Game 1 also, during the dead time. As well as during the deck also, now that I think about it, I believe. This deck really is only worth playing if you have Sanctum of Alls. If you don't, it's just... I don't see it ever being that good. This is an awful hand, by the way. But it's like, technically got things I can do. Admittedly, it's only 2 Assassin's Trophies. But it's like a 3-lander, we're up a game. I'm not in love with this. I'm not, let's be entirely honest. Okay, better. Okay, that's better. That's better. Yeah, I do remember Saffron Olive's list running more Triumphs, which is not awful. The Triumphs can turn into card draw in a vacuum, which is something. Okay. Okay, I will actually go ahead and ping to hold this open. Again, kind of wanting to a trophy away the more problematic shrines. Or Sithis, which is card draw. So yeah, we're probably going to save the next trophy for either card draw shrines or maybe a Sanctum of All. I think anything beyond that we're like... we're reasonably well equipped to deal with it. Go ahead and play a Sanctum of Stone Fangs of our own here, so we can largely mitigate the effects. Another Sithis, which is not great. Probably going to get some card draw off of it regardless. Cashing in it for card draw. Fair. Not the worst play in the world. I guess the $1 million question is... go for green. I'm not gonna tutor right now. I think I'm gonna value the trophy more. Since they're getting to the point where they can actually, like, cast their goofy shit. Banishing Light for removal is not awful. It does sort of hinge on me not interacting at all, though. That card is getting... Yeah, I'll live without the Stone Fangs. They're seeing when needs to die immediately. Our only hope is to, like, maybe get there with card draw. Okay, that's not the worst thing on the planet. I'm going to look for a Fruitful Harvest so we can find some mana fixing, if nothing else. Check our colors of mana. White, don't have blue. Or that's actually pretty brutal regardless of what happens now. If we draw a land, we're in a better spot. Why? I mean, I guess thinking that I might not take it. Still gonna cast the Fruitful Harvest. Go ahead and Pathway on red, getting the Honden of Infinite Rage. We now have all the color fixing for a Sanctum of All next turn. We can also start pinging away cards like those Sithis. I think we've gotten very, very lucky in that we just might happen to get our Sanctum of All online before theirs. Which is, as far as I can tell, basically how the mirror matchup in this plays. Is you're, like, just looking for... That card's not going to be that good here. Like, I mean, yeah, it kind of sucks, but it's, like, not that bad. And I can't cast the spell, but I can Sanctum of All and just put it on the battlefield. Doesn't, like, prevent it from being used, you know? I was gonna say like a Pithing Needle, but even Pithing Needle has only activated effects. That is a very nice draw. Green. We're gonna Sanctum of All first, as we should. I believe our play... Oh, that's fantastic. In that case, I believe we're going to Knight of Autumn the Binding away. And then next turn we can Knight of Autumn their Banishing Light away. No point in attacking, it does nothing. Cycling again. I believe they are just running what I loosely remember as Saffron Olive's list, as far as I can tell. Might not be the case, though. Well, this is really interesting, honestly. Well, fuck me. I think I actively lose. That's fucking brutal. Get rid of the all. Yeah, get rid of the all. That's the correct play. Okay, we're not immediately fucked. We're just kind of fucked. It's not great. It's not a great place to be in. Gotta get rid of their red Shintai here. Again, it's not great. Oh, Boseju's beautiful, actually. Still get a Knight of Autumn. Getting rid of their Ixalan's Binding. We have a Boseju, so we can get rid of their card draw shrine. They do have Triomes, so they're probably going to fetch a Triome up if I had to guess. And arguably, you know, as they should. That Brilliant Restoration is funny and cute, but man, I don't think that card's good in... I mean, in most decks. This is one of those decks that happens to be a weird anomaly where it, like, sort of kind of works. Might as well attack with the Knight. See what our opponent does. Yeah, that's the thing you can do. No, that's really bad. But I think ours being online first is actually going to kind of be what's necessary. This is going to be so weird, but I think it's actually correct. Well... in a weird spot, aren't we? I guess we can bring out Black Shintai here. Also play our Stone Fang. We need to. Draw 5 cards. Discard a Shockland, since we're not in the greatest position to do that. Get some black mana out of this. Cast our own Stone Fang. Play a Golos to fix for some land. It doesn't really matter that much what we get. Sure, why not? Again, and just tap. It's the only real option. I think we're gonna go Shintai here. And we have 6 shrines, so I'll be able to activate the red Shintai extra times. We attack with the 2 Knights of Autumn, as we don't really have anything else to do with them. And we don't have any more Knights to actually get rid of their Sanctum of All. So we really got to start making something happen. We in turn. We pay 1 for red Shintai. Pass on black. Another pay for red Shintai. Again, Sanctum of All, now having 6, allows us to trigger shrines an additional time. I think, maybe, just maybe, we might have gotten there. Thank God. I guess if you happen to want to play this at home, despite my warnings, and you happen to run into the mirror, it's really just a race to who can get their Sanctum of All running and get their value engine running. I think the first person who gets that in the mirror matchup is the person who wins. But anywho, thank you all for watching today, for watching the video. Remember to like the video if you liked it, sub if you like my weird grab bag of content that I like to make. And if you have any sort of comments down below, like how you might trim up the deck, or cut this, or add this, or what have you, that's what comments are for, down below. Thank you all, have a great day, and stay safe out there.